Good morning, everyone. My name is Julie. I am the owner and founder of Lady Faultice Apothecary. We are here today to talk about the full moon that is coming up tomorrow, Saturday. Um, so, yeah, lots to talk about today. I am later than I thought I was going to be. I apologize for that if you happen to be waiting for me. Probably not, but you never know. Yeah, it was a late start this morning. I didn't feel like rushing, so I didn't. Um, let's just smudge a little teeny bit here if I can find a little. There's a little bit left on this piece that we can burn. Maybe. So let's start by doing that. Get a little bit for you guys. For me. I needed it. I had a not so good day yesterday. Hence the not feeling like rushing around or being crazy this morning. So I'm just like, you know what? Just not feeling it, so I'm not going to do it. Um, let's put that over there where it'd be safe to keep burning. So we are here today to talk about the full moon in Sagittarius. Sort of. I'll get into that in a minute. Um, so just a reminder that when we're talking about the full moon, that is a time when we are going to be releasing things that no longer serve us. So could be people, could be bad habits, could be emotions. For example, for the longest time, I was trying to release anger. Um, so you can work with releasing some anger, bad habits, relationships. Um, could be communication problems. There's like endless list of things that you could be trying to release. So um, when I'm working with a full moon, I try to know the astrology that's around it and try to incorporate what I'm trying to release to kind of match that energy so that it kind of has that extra boost, right? Um, we don't need to release just during full moon. You can work on releasing things that aren't serving you at any time. Um, and I would definitely recommend that if you know something's holding you back or not good for you, go ahead and work on releasing that. Doing it at the full moon just gives us that little extra oomph. It's kind of just like that little bit of a help there. Um, I use weird analogies sometimes, but I think of it as somebody telling me to go out and dig a hole and not giving me any tools. I can do it. It's going to take a long time, and I'm probably going to, you know, have sore hands and break a nail, and they'll be swearing. And now, if somebody gives me a little shovel, one of those garden shovels, and then says, go, um, dig a hole. Now it's a little bit easier. It's going to go faster, and my hands probably won't hurt quite so bad. And, so it'll be a little bit easier. And then, so this is like full moon energy, right? Or new moon, depending on which you're working with. Then we add in our crystals and our oils and all the other things that we do, right? So now it's like somebody giving us a full size shovel and saying, go dig that hole. And it's going to be like, yeah, no problem. We got this. Like it's going to take like 2 seconds, right? So that's kind of how I think of it as, we can certainly do it. It's going to be, might be a little bit harder. But if we use all the tools that we have that we can use, then it's a much easier project for us. So that's just the way I like to look at it. I try to make super easy analogies. But anyway, so full moon is a tool to help with whatever you're trying to release. And then when we get to the part where we're going to talk about crystals and tarots and archetypes and all those are just more tools that you can use that's going to make whatever you're trying to do a little bit easier for you. So I hope that makes sense. All right. So I said it's the full moon in Sagittarius, sort of, right? So what does that mean? I don't want to get like too technical, but I did want to touch base on it. So according to pretty much everything that's on the internet right now, it's going to say full moon in Sagittarius. But if you actually go by where the planets are actually placed right now, actually tomorrow, but right now they'll, whatever, you know what I mean. It's actually in Scorpio. The full moon's actually in Scorpio. And again, without getting too technical and too deep into it, it's because the way the planets have been moving, so over the last 200 years or so, they are not lined up with their signs anymore. So they're off by about 30 degrees. And everybody's like, okay, what does that mean? Like, really nothing. It just means that the signs aren't really where we think they are. Yeah, but nothing to worry about, nothing to get too technical about, nothing to get too upset about or anything like that. It's just that so where we consider the sign of Sagittarius now, the where the planets are don't actually line up with that anymore. So, but as far as astrology wise, I think the energies are pretty accurate. The descriptions are pretty accurate. So again, I don't think it's anything to worry about too much. But technically speaking, this full moon is in Scorpio. So a lot of the stuff that I'm going to talk about today, and this is the reason I'm telling you this, is because what I'm going to talk about today is more geared towards Scorpio energy than it is Sagittarius energy. So, but yeah. And again, I'm not going to go too technical on it. You can Google it. You can search it out. Astrology King is a good website you can go to get that information. But yeah, and if you have questions, you can certainly put them in the comments or private message me, and I will do my best to explain it. I love astrology, but I don't get into the placements of the degrees and blah, blah, blah. All that stuff doesn't really interest me. It's more about the energies that actually interest me. But I can help a little bit. So if there's questions there, just go ahead and let me know, okay? But like I said, the biggest reason I brought it up was because a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about is more geared towards Scorpio than Sagittarius. Iced coffee. All right, so let's jump in, right? So this full moon is kind of been nicknamed, I guess, I don't know, labeled the Great Attraction. And we'll get into that in a little bit as well. But typically full moons kind of have like the nicknames of, and I don't know, I didn't search it out, but a lot of times like the farmer's almanac, we'll call it like the wolf moon or the red moon or things like that. And I honestly didn't check if there was a name for this particular moon. But as we get talking a little bit more about the energies, you'll understand why it got labeled the Great Attraction. So I know I'm kind of skipping around here today, but it's kind of, I'm trying my best to put it in some sort of understanding order of understanding. Yeah. Anyway, this full moon is trine with Mars. So you're like, okay, what does that mean, right? So basically, we know Mars is, it's the planet of war. But don't worry, we're not going to war. It's not going to be negative energy or anything like that. The nice balanced energy of Mars is that we can be assertive and we can be bold without being bullying or aggressive. So, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be that way. Um, a nice balanced Mars energy is just, having that little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Assertiveness, and being, I'm struggling with words today. Um, Drive. So you have that drive, you have that assertiveness. When it gets overactive, that's when you get into being aggressive or bullying and things like that. So it's going to be a good energy. So it's going to be, you're definitely going to have some of that drive to do things here. So I know I'm kind of rambling today. Sorry. So basically, what I wrote down is it's going to be a good time to follow your intuition to fulfill any passions, desires, or wants that you might have, right? So you're like, okay, well, how do I get something I want if I'm releasing something, right? Kind of sounds confusing. Um, but again, just kind of think outside the box. Think of whatever it is that you're trying to get and what's holding you back. And so that's something you could release. Or for me, for the longest time, this is kind of the reverse, but for the longest time, I was trying to release anger. And what I really needed to be doing was focusing on calling in joy. So if you're trying to call in joy or happiness or peace or calm, what is it that's keeping you from that? And that's what you can release. So you kind of have to just do a little bit of soul searching and thinking, and sit with your emotions to kind of figure out how that's going to look for you. So that's some of the Mars energy. This full moon is, sorry, I'm dehydrated. I was really dehydrated yesterday. I had a super bad headache. So trying to stay a little bit more hydrated today. Anyway, alignment, this full moon alignment is, again, and I don't want to get too technical. I don't want my videos to be all sciencey, but it is aligned with a central gravitational point. What does that mean? There's this whole big definition. I'm not going into it. If you want more information about it, I go ahead and ask, and I can try to answer it for you. But again, you can Google it, right? So this central gravitational point that we are in, and there's this whole thing, and I'll come back to it in a little bit and talk about it a little bit more, but this is a gravitational, how do I say this? So when you're in a gravitational pull, right, you're pulling, right? So that's where we're getting part of that attraction part, right? We're attracting things to us, we're pulling things to us. So it's going to be kind of, sorry guys, I'm really struggling here today. It's going to be, like I said, a powerful attraction, but it's also going to be somewhat about attraction, seduction, desire, intimacy kind of energy. Okay. So that's going to be there as well. But it's going to be really the main thing here is attraction, right? We're going to naturally be pulling things in for us. So this is a perfect time to, like I said, use your intuition to fulfill your desires and your passions, because things are naturally going to be attracted to us that we are. So we want to be calling in what's coming towards us, right? So like I said, this combination with Mars and the attraction, the great attraction, the gravitational pull, is also going to be bringing you a bit of a desire for truth. So that might be coming in there a little bit for you as well. The sun is opposite the moon right now. And so that's going to bring about a feeling for like home, family, intimate relationships again. So there's kind of that intimacy, that desire, that passion, that seduction energy is going to kind of all tie in there for you. But it's going to also be, like I said, just more of an intimate, not necessarily intimate like sexual wise, but intimate, like home family kind of feeling. So you aren't going to want to be isolated, but you might not be feeling like going out to a big social gathering kind of thing. You're going to want to just kind of maybe have family around you and things like that during this time. That's probably going to last about 2.5 weeks for you. So that energy is a little bit longer. So over the next couple of weeks, you might be feeling like that. Like I said, you're not going to feel like you want to be by yourself, but you're not going to feel like you want to go out to like maybe a big barbecue or a big party or a big gathering. It might be more about having your family over for dinner, or, like Sunday afternoon family time or something like that. You're going to feel more like that over the next couple of weeks. Your subconscious awareness is also going to be heightened a little bit during these next couple of weeks. And again, that's going to be bringing in that kind of desire for honesty. So that truth seeking is kind of still flowing over into that as well. So you're getting that desire for truth with Mars, but it's also going to be coming in a little bit with the sun opposite the moon energy. So that's going to kind of be there a couple times for you as well. And it's also going to flow over into relationship, right? So your subconscious awareness is going to be looking for that honesty and that balance in relationships. So what that kind of means is you might be, over the next couple of weeks, you might all of a sudden be like, and you might see something that you hadn't been seeing before, as far as someone in your circle that might be causing drama or negativity. So maybe like all of a sudden you're just going to be like, wow, I never really realized how negative Bob was. Or every time Bob seems to be around, there always seems to be a lot of drama. Like, so there might be something like that you might be becoming more aware of that you weren't before. So, we all have those people that like everybody else is like, how does she not see that? And you're like, but yeah, so something just might be coming to light for you. That's kind of been there, but we just, for whatever reason, we didn't see it. And so that might be something that might be coming up. That one, I think, could be maybe the hardest part of this full moon, right? And it's not bad. It's not like if someone's causing drama or someone's causing negativity around us, like we want to be aware of that, and we want to do what we can to limit that, whether that means having a conversation with the person and saying, listen, I noticed this is happening when you're around, and figure out how to work with them or how to adjust it, or like, whatever. But it may just be to the point where you just need to kind of be like, sorry, but we can't, I can't have this around. And until you can adjust. You know, we can't really hang out, or we can't be spending time together or whatever. So that's where I'm saying that's probably going to be the hardest part of this full moon. The overall energies are not bad. The overall energies are nothing to be concerned or worried about. But sometimes it is hard to take somebody that's being negative or causing drama in our life, and having that conversation with them that um, I'm sorry, but because of this, I just can't have you. I can't have you around right now. Um, and so that could be a hard conversation, and it could be hard on you because it could be a person that you truly care about, could be a family member, but if that's what has to be released for your own good, for your own sanity, for your own health, and then that's may have to happen. So again, those are really tough things to deal with. And again, if anybody wants anyone to talk about, you can always private message me, because I'm always willing to kind of step in and help. But generally, I tell people when they ask me a question like, should I cut this person out of my life? I'm like, you really already know that answer. And I'm not judging, but it's like people want that, they want someone else to say yes. So that they can be like, it was justified because she told me yes, I should do that. But really, if you're asking the question, deep down, you already know the answer. So anyway, we'll get off that and try to get on something a little bit more uplifting here. So again, Mars is going to bring, like I said, that assertiveness. You're going to be more direct. You're going to be a little bit more bold. But because of all the other energies that are in place, sometimes, like I said, that assertiveness can become aggressive, or that boldness can become bullying, right? But again, because of all the placements and how the energy is, it's about harmony. It's about balance. It's about, what am I trying to say? Peace, calm. No, not peace, calm. What's the word I'm looking for? Can't think of it. Anyway, because those energies are all around us right now, your boldness and your assertiveness is going to be taken by others. Again, this is if it's in balance, right? Is going to be taken more as a fact, more as a truth, more as a why can't I think of words today? Alzheimer's setting in, I guess. I can't think of the word I want to use. It's going to be about people taking it as like an enlightenment kind of thing, like, oh, yeah, kind of a thing. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. But they're not going to take it as being bossy or being bullying or things like that. They're going to take it more as a fact, a truth, kind of a thing. So anyway, and back a little bit to that central gravitational point that I talked about earlier. Again, not getting too technical or anything, but so there's a constellation in there that's called Norma. I don't know who named them. I don't know why it was named Norma. A lot of constellations are named after gods or goddesses, or zodiacs, or dragons, or like all kinds of things. So I don't know who named constellation Norma, but I thought it was kind of funny. But Constellation Norma is all about honesty and truth and justice. So that's kind of, again, tying back to that, what I was trying to say earlier, just a minute ago, about that Mars communication being taken more as a truth or a fact, and not like bullying. So, um, so if I had to pick 3 words, and 3 because that's everything I do is 3. But if I had to pick 3 words that would sum up this full moon, it's going to be attractive. And I guess it could be you being attractive physically, but it's about being attractive, right? Attractive, harmonious, and I didn't talk too much about it, but I would actually say it's going to be kind of relaxing because of that wanting to be home, wanting to just be around family kind of energy. It's just a nice relaxing energy, in my opinion, I guess. Depends on your family, right? If you've got a lot of those family members that are causing negativity and drama, it might not be too relaxing unless you have that hard conversation. So, all right. So let's get over to talking about some things you could work with during this full moon. Remember when I talk about full moon energy, new moon energy, the energy is about 3 days. So you could start working today, Saturday, and then into Sunday, and that moon energy is going to be there for you. But I'm also a big believer, like I said, you don't need full moon to do releasing work. You can, if there's something you need to release, release it. You don't have to wait till the full moon. You can't be like, oh, I have to wait till full moon to release that. No, you don't. If there's something that you're trying to call in, something you're trying to release, something you're working on, do it anytime. Then you can always kind of, like I said, re-up it during the full moon, or new moon, depending on what you're trying to do. Like I said, it's a tool to help, but it's not the only time to do it. So, all right. So anyway, like I said, I'm not doing ritual. I don't do ritual live. There's a bazillion people out there that do. And so I don't feel like it's something I need to do. I don't feel called to do it. And I prefer to kind of do my own ritual work in my own way at my own time. And whatever you feel called to do is perfectly fine for you. You don't have to sit down at exactly the moment of the full moon and cast a circle and say all the words and do all the things. If you want to, if that's part of your practice, if that is what you feel called to do, that's perfectly fine. Not saying you don't have to do it or not to do it. It's just whatever you feel called to. And I don't feel called to do that. I kind of take my time over the couple of days and work on things kind of at my own pace. And sometimes it's a little bit here and sometimes it's a little bit there. And I'm kind of all over the place. But if you guys watch my videos, you know that I'm kind of squirrel like that. I'm like over here, over there. So that's how I prefer to do it. I don't make time to sit down and do that, but I'm not saying anything negative about anybody that does. I think if you have the time to do that and you have the patience to do that, that's wonderful, but it's not in the cards for me, at least not right now. But maybe someday. Things are always changing for us, right? So anyway, I just feel like I'm rambling and babbling today. All right. So the first thing that we usually talk about is affirmations. So I try to pick an affirmation, as well as all the other things we're going to talk about, that are going to somehow tie back into the astrology. So again, that's why I talked about that the full moon is technically in Scorpio and not Sagittarius, because a lot of the stuff that I'm going to talk about in this part of it is more geared towards Scorpio energy than it is Sagittarius energy. So, okay, so the affirmation, let me type it in here for you. It's kind of a long one, and if you want to shorten it, you certainly can. And it's an easy one to shorten out if you want to. Make sure I missed a word. Okay, so affirmation. I acknowledge the power within me, knowing that the source is divine. And if you wanted to shorten that, just drop off that last little part. I acknowledge the power within me. So that power within you to transform, that power within you to attract what you're trying to attract, the power within you to release what's not serving you, the power within you to find the truth, to see the things that maybe we didn't see before. So however you want to change that up is certainly fine. Like I said, you could just leave it at I acknowledge the power within me and use that. You can do the I acknowledge the power within me, knowing the source is divine. For me, the source divine is that it's that trust that what's happening around me is for a reason. It's either a lesson, it's an obstacle to overcome, it's for my own benefit later somewhere down the road. Like just that that trust that it's happening for a reason, that just bad things don't just happen, that everything around me, everything that's happening is going to make me somewhere down the road a better person. So, or like I said, you can add that little bit of I acknowledge the power within me to release what no longer serves me. I acknowledge the power within me to see things that were not seen before. Like I said, depending on what you're working with and what energies you're trying to call in or what energies you're trying to release, you can kind of change that up to fit however you want it to. Okay. So the tarot card I picked is, again, like I said, associated with Scorpio. And so I picked the Death card, which is a Scorpio tarot card. Isn't she beautiful? I mean, I love this deck. The sad part is I don't do tarot cards. I don't work with tarot cards. As far as like, I work with them this way, right? By the image in the card. But I don't read. Sorry, my phone's going off. I don't read tarot cards. I only use oracle cards. But this deck of cards was just like too pretty for me not to get. So, stupid phone. So the death card doesn't mean somebody's going to die. I know, like, people pull the death card and they're like, ooh, someone's going to die. I'm going to die. We're all going to die. Don't panic. Nobody's dying. It's more about transformation. So the example that comes up a lot is like the snake that is going to shed its skin and become a new snake, right? It's going to have a new skin. You could use the phoenix rising, that it burns down to ash and then it's reborn, things like that. So it's more about transformation. It's more about, like I said, the kind of the death of what's no longer serving us, the death of what's holding us back, things like that. Okay, so it's like whatever we're releasing, we're gonna just be like, it's not there anymore. It's gone. It's dead, right? So, um, and if you don't have a tarot deck, you can just Google it. You know, put tarot card death, and then click image, and you'll get the traditional ones, but then you might get some other ones. And just if there's one that resonates with you, just work with that one. And again, I've said this in lots of other videos. You can put them as screensavers on your computer or on your phone. You can print them out and put them in a frame on your altar or your space, whatever, wherever you keep your things. I have two big shelves. They're similar to what these are, but the bottoms are drawers because I keep all my crafting stuff in there. But my shelves in my house are filled with all my goodies, right? And so that's kind of my altar space. There's a little chair in between, so if I wanted to sit there, I don't really have time to do that right now, but I did set it up. There's a chair in between, so I could sit there with all my things on both sides of me and have my little space there. But I don't get to use it much. So anyway, moving on to archetypes. The archetype I picked, and again, this is based on Scorpio energy, is the alchemist, which is kind of funny because the alchemist has kind of popped up a couple of times for me over the last week. So maybe that's a sign for me, right? What I just moved my phone. So what I did is, like I said, I Googled archetype, the alchemist, and then I clicked image, and I just scroll through until I find something that kind of speaks to me, something that I'm like, oh, that's neat. Oh, I like that one. And so I'll try to blow it up here a little bit, but so this is the one I came across. And I just thought that was a really neat, cool picture. So I'm probably going to put that as a screensaver on my phone for, in maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of days. I don't know. Depends on how long I feel like keeping it. And that's part of your intuition, right? Like if you're like, okay, my work with this is done, then trust that and just, move on, right? So you don't have to say, I have to work with this for 2 weeks, or I have to work with this till the next full moon, or I have to work with this till the new moon. If you only keep it on your altar space or on your phone or whatever for even a day, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's all you need it for. So maybe you don't want it at all. Maybe it doesn't speak. Maybe you scroll through the pictures and nothing really speaks to you, and that's okay too. So the alchemist is, again, it's about transformation, right? So alchemy is about changing something from one form to another form. So again, that ties back to the death card, which is about transformation. And then that ties back into somewhere else we talked about transformation. Now I can't find it in my notes. But the releasing, to me, when you're releasing something that no longer serves you, that's a form of transformation, right? So, and when we're calling something in, I think we're in a constant state of transformation. Every day, things that happen to us shape and form who we are. So every little thing that happens to us, and that's, again, trusting that source energy, that it's all for a reason, it's all for a purpose. But every little thing that happens to us is for a reason to make us better. The biggest example I would say is like, my husband said to me one time, he's like, I wish we would have got together, in high school and been together the whole time. And I said, no, because it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have lasted, because we weren't who we are now then. Like, we were different people, and we wouldn't have worked. and we wouldn't have lasted. So I'm like, we had to go through all the life experiences that we went through to make us who we are to be together now. And that's just the way it is. And I am a firm believer that that's the way things were meant to be. That's the way things are supposed to be. So anyway, I'm rambling again. But trusting that that source energy, that universe, that divine, whatever it is you want to call it, God, Odin, Ganesha, whoever, Buddha, like whatever it is that is, you know, your thing, then trusting in that and that's right, that leap of faith, I guess. I try not to get too religion-y, but anywho. So the alchemist, now that I'm rambling again, transformation. But the alchemist also is pulling in a little bit of that passionate, intense energy, which ties back into obviously Scorpio energy, which is very intense and very deep and passionate, and that central gravitational point that's giving us that pull, and the Mars energy about passion and desire. So again, like I really try to like make everything come together. So so you could work with an image of the alchemist. So all right, over to stones. I picked 3 stones. I usually do pick 3 stones because again, I do everything in threes. The first one I picked is some Kambaba, and I'm probably Kambaba jasper. Mine is pretty dark. It's kind of hard to see, but it has some swirlies. It has some black swirlies in it. It's got a little bit of, I wouldn't say white, but maybe a little gray. But anyway, Kambaba jasper is a good stone for action. So if you're taking an action of releasing something, of transforming, of eliminating drama and negativity, of passion, desire, whatever it is that maybe you're focusing on all of it, maybe you're focusing on one thing, again, and that's fine. So just some Kambaba jasper for action, whatever that may be for you. And then I picked some clear quartz, and I picked a point today because I have the, try not to be salesman, but I have these here in the shop, and I absolutely love these. They are so clear and pretty, and the camera is just really not doing it justice, but it's one of those things you buy and you're like, maybe I'll keep those. But you're like, okay, what do I need like a dozen clear gold points for? Because I have a bunch in the house already. But yeah, quartz is one of the things, quartz, smoky quartz, is one of the things that I'm drawn to. So yeah, you can see how pretty and clear those are. So clear quartz is an amplifier. So it's going to take all the things that you're working with and amplify it. It's like a booster, that extra little bit of energy for it. So I could just hold these and play with them all day. So anyway, citrine is the other one. Citrine is great for manifesting. It's great for calling things in. It's great for abundance. So I picked it for kind of that abundance. It's kind of like a magnifier, not like this. This is a booster to magnify. How do I want to say this? This is a booster of energy. This is a magnifier of like, it's that pulling it in, that attracting it. Okay. I didn't describe that well, but so this is an amplifier and this is a magnifier. So So yeah, those are the 3 stones that you could work with. And if you don't have these stones, you can use your intuition and pick other stones. I'm a big believer that, like, if you don't have a single stone and you are like, I'm gonna go buy one stone, what stone do I go buy? It should be this one, because you can use it to just amplify any energy that you're trying to work with. So if you have no crystals, no gemstones, and you want to go buy a stone and you're like, I don't know what stone to buy first, this one. So, all right, over to herbs/oils. I categorize these together because they can be worked with interchangeably. So if you have all of them in herbs, you can work with that. If you have all of them in oils, you can work with that. If you have some in herbs and some in oils, you can put them together and work that way. If you have only one, there's so many possibilities. So one of them I picked for this full moon is pine. Pine is great as a cleanser, so you can use it like sage to cleanse a space. But it's also very uplifting. So that's kind of why I picked it, is for that uplifting. So we're going to cleanse out anything that's negative, that's bringing in drama, right? We're going to get rid of that. And then we're going to fill the space with something uplifting and positive. Then I picked lilac. Lilac is just good for harmony and balance. And so we talked about that harmonious feeling, that relaxing feeling that you might be picking up from the sun opposite the moon, where, like I said, you might feel like kind of being home, being around family, and things like that. So lilac's going to give you that nice, harmonious, balanced feeling. Then I also picked some balsam. I'll have to tell you guys, I love the tree scents. Pine, balsam, fir, all of those. They just, for whatever reason, I love them. So if you're more of a floral person, then there's certainly other things you can work with. And again, you can either put that in the comments or private message me, and we can kind of figure out like what is going to be maybe something better for you to work with. Because if you don't like the smell of something, then you're probably not going to work with it, right? So it needs to be something that speaks to you. And again, you can always just use your intuition and be like, I feel like I want to work with this. So work with it. Maybe it doesn't fit the little category that I've picked, but maybe there's a reason for you to work with that particular herb or oil. So just trust your intuition. It's hard, but once you start to do it and you're like, then it becomes easier over time. You're like, I feel called to this, so this is what I'm doing. I feel like I want to have this, so I'm going to have this. I feel like I don't need that, so I'm not going to get, it will become easier the more you do it. But balsam is again about balancing, and it's about joy. So again, that joy, harmony, balance, uplifting, all that energy is really good. So, we're going to clear the space out. So how do I say this? Sometimes we're so focused on clearing stuff out that we don't remember that we have to kind of fill back in, right? So that's what happened to me way back, was I kept trying to get rid of anger and get rid of anger and get rid of anger, and it wasn't working. And what I actually needed to do was focus on calling in joy and bringing in joy and taking time to see that there are things around me that are good and positive, and that if I took a little bit more time and focused on those and thought about those things and stuff, that the anger just kind of fell off on its own. So, so we have to clear our stuff out. We have to release. We have to let go. But we kind of, it's like making a little vacuum, right? If you clear out all the anger or the negativity or the drama, and you don't focus on what you're going to kind of fill that back up on, it kind of just comes right back. So we cleared it out. There, it's gone, but now it's back because we didn't really focus on what we wanted to replace that with. So, so kind of you have to think of both. Again, balance, right? We don't want to be on one side or the other side. We want it to be well-rounded and balanced. I think now I'm just mostly drinking melted ice, but oh well. All right. Colors. I struggled with colors today. They weren't really speaking to me. um, the major color associated with Scorpio is black, brown, like a deep red maroon kind of color. And just none of those were calling to me. If they are for you, that's great. Go work with them. The color that I really felt drawn to today was like a teal color. I don't have teal on. I've got blue on, but my notebook here is teal. Kind of a teal color, turquoisey color. And that was for water energy, which Scorpio is a water sign. So it kind of was odd to me that the colors of Scorpio didn't include any blues, any kind of blue in it, like brown, black, dark red. And that makes sense when you think of Scorpio as the mystery kind of, it's the zodiac that's all about mystery and depth and kind of the dark side of things. But it is a water sign. And so I felt more like this would be a time for a blue color for that water element and communication, right? But if you feel called to work with the black, the brown, the maroon, dark red kind of color, I don't have anything around that's kind of that color right now, but you guys know what I'm talking about, like a burgundy color. Go ahead and work with those. I just feel like springtime and everything, that those colors don't really seem to be speaking to me right now. So I, again, was drawn more towards like a teal kind of a color for water and communication. Journal prompt. Stupid phone. Journal prompt. I will put it in here. I don't know if you guys use them here or not, but I put it in. I know it's another long one. You can shorten it if you want, but I didn't check that for typos. Okay, I think it's okay. So, how can I be transformed and renewed by the magic that is now an eternal, not internal, eternal? So it's kind of a long one. Again, you can kind of just shorten it to how can I be transformed, right? That's like the key that we're kind of looking for with everything, whether it's releasing or whether it's calling in or whatever the energy is. It's how is this going to transform us in a positive way, right? We don't want to go regress. We don't want to go backwards. So in a positive way, how can this be helpful to you? What is it that you can transform that's going to renew you, right? That's gonna change you in a positive light. That's gonna add to your growth, make you a better person, however you want to say it, right? So again, I know full moon is about releasing, and like I said, you kind of have to just find that opposing not item, but energy, obstacle, what it is that's holding you back from getting where you want to go or obtaining what it is you want to obtain. So, but how can you use this to transform you? Or if you want to take the journal prompt in a little bit of a different aspect, I suppose you could, because it just kind of dawned on me that if you wanted to take it more of a, maybe something has happened, because like I said, yesterday I had a really crappy day. And so, and like I said, I'm a believer of these things happen for a reason, and that there is going to be something out of what happened yesterday that's going to make me a better person. I don't see it right now. I'm still in the pissed off stage. And I'm feeling it and processing it to let it go, right? But there's something that happened there that somewhere down the line is going to make me a better person. I'm going to learn something. I'm going to go through something, whatever it is. So I could take that back, or you could take that as a, like, what has happened recently in your life that maybe felt like a setback, or something that, just was not a great experience, right? And how could you take that and use it to your benefit? How possibly could that be something that could help you transform into a positive way? So you could use it that way as well, I guess, for a journal prompt. So, or make up your whole own meaning. So, all right. So to finish up, usually I go over a little craft. I'm not going to do the craft with you guys. I just, like I said, I just don't have time right now. But hopefully going forward, once I get out of school and stuff, I plan on doing some crafting videos, probably based around the 8 high holidays. So full moon and new moon will stay the same. I will just give you like a suggestion for a craft. I won't do the craft with you. But then during the high holidays, I will probably do a video that'll be about a craft, and then probably a little bit of history or astrology or something around the high holiday. So hope that makes sense. But one of the things I used to love to do, and it kind of made me feel sad for a minute this morning, I wasn't going to be doing it with you, is decorating candles. I still have candles that I decorated from years ago, that I pull out and rearrange and do different things with them, depending on, that's one of the ways I work with color, and things like that. So if you just go to, you don't have to have a super fancy, expensive candle. You can just go get, like, I used to get those tall, skinny ones at the dollar store. They're not scented. And they came in like white, green, red. Sometimes you could find a yellow one, things like that. And what I used to do is print off a picture, like something, like I said, like the alchemist picture might have been one. So I might have printed this off, and I would put it on the jar, and then maybe I would put some teal ribbon on it. Maybe if you wanted to work with the black, maybe you could sprinkle black glitter on it while the glue was maybe still a little wet. Maybe tie a charm on it that was something for, that was for you. I like to use those little old-fashioned, ancient-looking keys, because for me it was like unlocking what it was I needed, right? I have to find the key to unlock this. I have to find the key to releasing anger. I have to find the key to finding joy, right? So that kind of was how that tied in for me. Maybe it's something different for you. Transformation is, you could use a butterfly. Those are great symbols of transformation. You could use a snake if you wanted to. There's lots of different symbols out there for transformation. It could be just something that speaks to you that you could tie on there. And then what I used to do is I used to actually take a blow dryer and heat up the top of the candle so it melted a little bit. And then I would maybe put in the oils or herbs that I wanted to work with and sprinkle them in there. And then, so you're not lighting it to melt it. You're just heating up the wax and then sprinkling it in there and then letting it set and harden back up. So when you do light it, you kind of get the aroma that way. So there's all different things you can do with decorating a candle to make it your own and make it something that you want to work with. Again, like I talked about the picture frame, getting a picture frame from the dollar store and painting it or putting glitter on it or gluing things onto it or putting ribbons on it or whatever that makes it yours that you want to work with. And so I used to do these candles like every full moon and every new moon. That's what I did, was a candle. And I kind of stopped doing it because I had like a cupboard full of candles, because like I said, I would get the really big ones and I would burn it maybe for like 4 or 5 days. And then there would be still like half of it left. And I didn't want to throw them away after I had spent so much time making them pretty and stuff. And I finally got to the point where I'm like, okay, I have to take these out. I have to burn them. And then I have to let them go. But it was because it was something I made, and I made it to something that I wanted, right? And so it was hard for me to kind of let them go. So yeah, my own little personal dilemma there. But like I said, just go get a votive or something, at the dollar store. It doesn't have to be super fancy or expensive. And then just decorate it however you want. Whether, like I said, it's glitter or crystals or seashells or charms or ribbons or pictures or oils, herbs, whatever. There's like so many things you could do with a candle. I could sit here all day and talk about just different ways you could decorate and dress a candle. So, but I won't. If anybody does decorate a candle, it would be great if you wanted to share it. You could go over into Facebook, into the group. My group is Lady Faltai's Light Healers, and you could share a picture over there. Maybe I'll take a couple pictures of some of the ones that I've done and post them up there so you guys can see them. But yeah, I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today. I've been talking for a little over an hour now, so that's probably plenty. I try to keep it to an hour for full moon and new moon. So yeah, if anybody has any comments, any questions, please feel free to put them in there. If somebody's got something they want to add, that would be great. I always love it when somebody like takes something and adds on to it, comes up with something different than me. I love to see how people, how their thoughts are and how they come up with different things and how they might see things in a different perspective than I do and stuff. I don't consider that, somebody being correcting me. I think that we all see things differently, and I am always intrigued, like, well, how did you come up with that? How did you think of that? Why does that seem like that to you? And I'm not questioning like your like authenticity of it. I'm generally curious, like how you came up with that, or why you feel like that, or why you think like that. If I send you back some questions, it's not because I'm like doubting you, okay? It's because I'm generally curious as to why we all do the things we do. So, all right, so that's going to wrap it up for today. I hope everybody has a really great day. I hope everybody has a good full moon. And yeah, so hopefully something in here was helpful for you. If you think somebody else would enjoy this video, please either tag them or share it to them. Remember to go hit subscribe. And as always, remember, be kind. Your kindness is not only going to improve your day, it's going to improve somebody else's day. And it could potentially change someone's life for the better. And it could be yours. So thanks for watching, guys. Love you. Bye.